This video is sponsored by Flight Stars, located at Falcon Field in Mesa, Arizona. Hey, this one goes out to all the instructors and students. We're going to talk a little bit about teaching and learning methodology. We're here at Flight Stars, Falcon Field, Mesa, Arizona. They do a lot of multi-engine instruction here in the Diamond DA42. One of the things we notice in the multi-engine instruction program is that students tend to see that airplane as bigger and with more systems, and they intensely study the landing gear and the operation of the constant speed and feathering propeller. And then they get into the discussion of single engine aerodynamics. And they get into the acronyms, flaps, puts, and pats, and things like that. And it's kind of detail-oriented. And it's very rote-oriented. And so what happens is they spend a lot of time learning the rote fundamental knowledge, and then they kind of stop there and think, well, that's what it takes to be a multi-engine pilot. We see it also in the single-engine programs, but it kind of shows itself a little more in the light twin experience. So there's a couple of ways to avoid developing too much rote skills and not enough application and correlation skills. So one of the things that we can do is, as an instructor, is we can use scenario-based training techniques. So instead of taking your student out to the practice area and having the engine go from full hero to full zero every time and running the same flow of checklists every single time over and over again, we can change those scenarios up. So for instance, today I was doing a multi-engine instructor check ride, and I pulled the throttle back halfway and said, how would you teach your student to deal with this scenario? And it's a little different. What happens in real emergencies is, and I speak from 25,000 hours of experience in numerous emergencies in that time, they don't look like what we do in training, the real emergencies. Fundamentally, however, what we do in training impacts and influences our decision making when we have those oddball emergencies. So if you change the scenario, what you're teaching is not rote dealing with the emergencies. You're dealing with decision making. And that's really what we're trying to create, is pilots who can command the aircraft and make good aeronautical decisions. Much, much more important than remembering the flow, for example, of the engine failure and just doing that over and over again by rote. What's really important is, okay, now that you got the propeller feathered in the twin, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to get there? What are you going to say on the radio? All those kind of things. That also applies to single engine training. So if you're the instructor, use scenario-based training. If you're a student, what you can do is, as you're going through these procedures, and even if you're just learning how to do the engine run-up or an emergency procedure, doesn't matter. Look at the checklist and ask yourself, why am I doing this procedure, this particular step? What is the goal? What are we accomplishing? That gets you to the application and correlation stage. And now you can decide, as a decision maker, is it prudent to even go down this path to use that checklist, or should I wait? Should I do something else? For example, you may determine that if you lost the engine in the practice area, you might be able to look over and see your home airport, and instead of running exhaustive troubleshooting checklists, it might be more prudent to just turn towards the airport, get the propeller feathered, and land. You know, it's up to you. You're the pilot command. You make the decision, and you can contemplate those different decisions and what the outcomes may be. But always think safe, act safe, stay safe. I'm Safety Chip.